Hello, hello, hello. It is a Queen of Diamonds week, and I actually had the time to look at a Queen of Diamonds conversation, a great conversation. I was just looking at on Earn Your Leisure, and the conversation was actually between D1 and 19 Keys. I actually don't know D1 birthday. I do know 19 Keys is a two of spades, which is a card of communication, a card of, I actually call them um, the the magicians. So they are actually kind of defined as magicians. They a lot of times they do go into spiritual work, esoteric work. They can also go into the E5 practitioners, or it's anything as far as like con- concerning spirituality. A lot of times, looking for the Queen of Diamonds banner. I don't have it. So, so what made that a Queen of Diamonds conversation? You may ask. I'll type in Queen of Diamonds banner. It was the conversations around values. If you don't know the Queen of Diamonds or what their energy is, they are born with a ever with a consciousness around things of value, material value, but most importantly, spiritual values is the most important thing. And they have to learn that money should not be put at the center of their universe a lot of times as well. Let me move myself over to the side. There we go. So this is their spread as the Queen of Diamonds, as you can see. And another thing of the Queen of Diamonds, if you look into copy, I believe it is the book Arnie Lean. What's your card, if I'm not mistaken? Make sure I quote that book right. But what he stated was, um, it is to not it's not to look at the life path as positive and negative, as we always do and we always ask for, right? Or people always tend to speak about. But that's why I always say that it's like you living in someone's house, right? I always try to give that example when I'm talking about the challenging karma cards or the life path in itself, because we want to learn how to use the energy in its most positive states. There are challenges, we're just not going to sugarcoat that things don't happen, things, but if you concentrate on the negative, that's all you shall get is just negativity, you know. And the Queen of Diamonds, Three of Diamonds, Nine of Diamonds, these are cards of extremes, especially between doubt, fear, and negativity, right? It can be a very actually, every time someone speaks about this card, they're speaking negative. And the life path of this particular um, birthday, right? And it is a hard lifetime. There is a lot of trials and tribulations. But again, that's what I was saying. That's the reason why they should look at it as if they're taking on responsibility, of someone else's home or someone else's house, and they're learning, right, of how to manage, and they're learning how to take care of themselves, how to take care of their family, what is true values, and really standing on their principles and their values, and understanding self development, time, and what progression is, without getting doubtful, without being fearful. So the everlasting money consciousness can also put them in a fearful state, doubtful, and oftentimes uh, they supposed to inherit money, or people would believe, since it's the Queen of Diamonds, they just inherit wealth in this positive mind state. but a lot of times they don't. It's very rare that this particular energy just flows into just wealth without any type of trials or tribulations, right? But like I said, if you dwell on that and you dwell on the negatives, that's what you tend to get instead of actually looking at the positives. Okay, so one of the quotes that's to the agent of ages, wisdom values do not mean money, right? So the lesson and throughout this particular card is outside of just the material values, the lesson that they go through, within their trials and tribulations, ones that strengthens their cores and their values, right? The conversation between D1 and 19 Keys was speaking around values, right? And how as Black people sometimes we have sold ourselves short, just for money, right? And that's what the Queen of Diamonds. It can be a mercenary. It can be someone that can sell their values, their soul, just out of seeking of fear of being impoverished, right? So they can sell themselves short out of fear of just poverty a lot of times, and that's the energy. And the conversation was very deep, because that sometimes there's a divide, there's a sacrifice sometimes when you hold yourself accountable, when you have to hold other people accountable. The Queen of Diamonds is the judgment of values. A lot of times we don't want to be judged, or we walk through the path thinking that, we all live in this life, and we're going through it, and we should just mind each other. We should just mind our business. It's funny that Mace was like, he said, people be like, it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they have going on in their life. And he was like, it does matter. It does matter what they got going on. But that's holding people accountable, right? In all senses, and that's what kings and queens, and everyone want to vibrate as a king or a queen, and how and speak truth, and being able to have discretion and discriminate between what's righteous and what's not. Sometimes it's those things that you would say you don't have to teach, but you do have to teach it. I would be crazy. Or sometimes I blaze crazy to say that, people are just born knowing sometimes. And a lot of times when metaphysics or these practices, we do say that people have inherited wisdom, which is true. Sometimes that inherited wisdom is things of a past life, especially queens. This particular card has a sense of inherited wisdom or something. But what is right and wrong sometimes is programmed to us what is based upon what's around us, like our mother, especially the Ace of Diamonds. Like the Ace of Diamonds can be a tyrant a lot of times. I'm not going to say a lot of times, sometimes, but they have a Queen of Diamonds. So their upbringing and their home life and their mother a lot of times has a role or has a heavy effect on their values and their morals and the things that they walk with, right? A lot of times they walk out their house and may want to escape. The Ace of Diamonds, that is, they have the Five of Hearts and the Five of Diamonds, and the same with the Queen of Diamonds. They can be escapists, escape artists. May I wouldn't say we don't want to be held accountable, but like I said, they can face hardships, right? Their tests, they have an everyday test of walking in a righteous path, right? Sometimes there is inherited privilege, outside of just inherited wealth. It may be privilege or access to things, right? Based upon their upbringing or who they are. Um, so they have to remember a test is given in every step of the way. A lot of times I think of the Queen of Diamonds like a staircase, right? That's probably maybe a shirt I may have in the future, with the Queen of Diamonds, and symbolizes that, you know, every given moment, every day, every step of the way, there's a test given, and sometimes that's the heavy weight that that particular card carries, you know. But like I said, a lot of times for the men is they want to elevate to the king, it may be a little bit easier in their life path, whatever that's supposed to mean, right? But it means because a lot of times the queens have emotional intuition, right? They know how to. They have a judgment of values, which can be stern, right? Could be high, or they can hold other people accountable. But the king has a more of a unique and can walk by the way without care. Not I wouldn't say without care, but isn't as service oriented, right? So within servitude, a lot of times there's is, you know, you're looked at as a nurturing spirit, giving. Sometimes the Queen of Diamonds can overgive. They have a Nine of Diamonds that supports them, you know. So they have to have boundaries, right? Sometimes they love to spend on themselves as well. They can overgive, but the Nine of Diamonds is there to also um, teach selflessness, which the Nine of Diamonds is 50 cents card, correct? Yeah, it's 50 cents card. So there's a marriage between the Queen of Diamonds and Nine of Diamonds. We speak about that a lot. I don't know how long you've been here, but we kind of talk about that energy a lot between those two particular cards. And so you can see them maybe coming into life or going through different paths. The Nine of Hearts and Nine of Diamonds is also connected. That's the Saturn cards. So someone said, my mother, my Queen of Diamonds, came into this world with more knowledge and emotional maturity than I do. Yeah, so like I said, there is inherited wisdom and knowledge, but I also see that on other paths as well. I can see with my Queen of Diamonds that I know, there is a male, the emotional maturity. Um, he was faced with a lot of pitfalls, a lot of trials and tribulations, and that was kind of and it compensated like some the morals and values and some certain things that they may have had. So there's a lot of different examples and different things that people will see, but that's the test, right? So the ones that have this instinctual inherited knowledge and these values that they uphold, and being able to judge, having the intuition and the wisdom to help, that's how you kind of see how a person will use their card. Like, what's the highest vibration or um, example of the Queen of Diamonds, right? An artist, money management, taking care of other people, like I said, being a nurturing spirit, philanthropy in some type of way, so it's an energy that can be hooked or be connected to maybe charity or maybe even politics or speaking, right? It does sit Saturn and Mercury, right? So they inherited wealth and knowledge of things of value. So like money, could be one of those things that they can get into. But like I said, if someone is compromised or they compromise those things, or you see those things aren't vibrating to its highest, what can happen? Poverty. Someone can be poverty stricken. If they don't know how to discern between certain things, and they can be lured just through money and lose purpose. So your values shape your purpose, your values shape your consciousness. All of those is effective upon the person and how this particular energy grows. How did that reflect upon the week, right? So this week, what we seen is what I seen, or some particular things, was the relationship between parenting, right, as well. So Queen of Diamonds will do anything for the family. One thing they should not do is, like I said, compromise their moral compass, or their inherited values for money. Um, and out of the fear of poverty, sometimes that happens with this particular energy. But overall, they will actually work jobs that are beneath them in those particular cases. So it may not just be compensating their morals or values, that can be compensating their worth, their self-worth, the things that they know they could do better, and just doing it for a dollar. Three of diamonds can do that, three of spades, three of clubs. The threes has that type of effect. And as you can see, the three of diamonds sits there. So they sit in the three of diamonds house. Lithura diamonds must not sell themselves short, for money, or a lot of times it can be purpose, a lot of times a sacrifice. It may, like I said, it may not even be money. It can be a sacrifice for purpose, or like just volunteering and not getting paid. I can say that I had a conversation with my father. Just trying to say that. And he did tell me that, you know, you can't always work or sacrifice yourself, right? And that is, and that is true, and it is discrepancy, and making sure that you are knowing your worth and not sacrificing yourself just for a quick dollar, or gambling, that is sacrificing your morals, your values, all of those are the lessons of this particular card, right? So I was I volunteered at the Malcolm X grassroots movement radio station. So for me, this man, actually, the conversation went to the fact that it's not really a sacrifice when you're doing it with a purpose, right? I feel like the purpose of doing this outweighs my ultimate needs or my ultimate wants, which is actually a lesson of the card. That is the lesson of the card. Actually, going into hip hop and rap, and that's one of the things I was going into the D1 conversation is the purpose of rap and the purpose of the true value of it. Right, what they want becomes subservient to what is wanted by the plan for the whole mankind. Right, so what is needed, the inspiration, the values that needs to be pushed into the culture, uh, must be subservient to um, their need for money. Or must be, it shouldn't be undermined as far as the morals and the values that they should be pushing. And they should put their greed and things that they want kind of behind. Put it, you know, it shouldn't outweigh the the need, your money, your need for money should not weigh morals and values. And yeah, and Lil Wayne has MOB tatted on his chest, and that was the conversation on that podcast. But hello, Gina, how you doing? How are you?
Hey Rashad, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Planning as far as moving has been kind of a headache, but we're
Are you
figuring.
on this side of the world now, or are you still in California?
No, how many days do I got? No, I'm still over here. Um, like I said, my planning. I'm asking like how many days do I got? Yeah, so like maybe next Monday
Oh wow.
I should be gone. But yeah, so it's kind of a yeah. I need to get on
Are
it.
you are you excited to come back to the East Coast or?
Not at all. Not at all. I am not. But
Why?
it's gonna be cool, cause the weather, you can't beat the weather. Like
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
not outside of just the weather, just it's just different. It's like it's I was somebody in my head said that it's the devil's playground. It can be that, but talking about those morals and values, right? But yeah, it's just different. It's more to experience, see, to have. You can go out and skate along the beach. You just can't, just don't have that everywhere. You go to a skate park. Like it's just a lot of things you can see. Go through the canyon. Like it's so many different like um,
Oh, I bet
scenic
it's
views
beautiful out
that you
there.
can go to. Huh?
Yeah, I bet it's beautiful. Probably, that's the thing.
It's
The
amazing.
scenery.
They pay. That's what they pay for here. That's what they pay for.
Oh yeah.
That's why it costs so much. Uh, Someone said the Queen of Diamonds should be seen as queen of multiple streams of income. Um, what do you think, Gina? Queen of Diamonds being seen as the multiple streams of income.
I definitely can see the Queen of Diamonds being able to facilitate, multiple different things.
Mhm.
um, but I think also too, though, she's got to be really into it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's a big part of it. Um, and for her, because she's a queen, there's that essence of being of service. But at the same time, I think they can be very business savvy, and can definitely generate multiple ways. They're very talented. I think they're really good at connecting and marketing and putting things together. They have a good business.
Hmm.
I think so.
The three of diamonds can be an energy where it can be very distracting. A lot of times it mentions, I was trying to get the exact quote where it speaks about women. This card actually, that's why I think a lot of times they talk about the books aren't best for women. Um, it says that women can be more of mercenaries, usually so out of fear. But a lot of times these books don't speak well or positive about the cards, but it just said don't look at anything as far as positive and negative, right? So it can be seemingly contradictive. But yeah, the three of diamonds can actually lose focus or their energy into things, like I said, that they probably shouldn't. So it can be a type of energy or sitting in that house, something can take off or something can be successful that you don't even, you know, that you didn't even think was going to be that successful. It could be seemingly like a hobby or something, right? So there's an energy of having multiple streams of just forms of expression outside of just income or trying to have, just being creative, multiple avenues where you can express yourself creatively, which can turn into multiple streams of income. So it's like kind of like Gina said, find what's passionate to you or yourself, and the whole multiple streams of income thing is it's difficult because it's hard to do anything without any money. So if one thing isn't supporting you enough where you can actively vary and invest into the other thing, then it's kind of hard to balance the two. So it's like you got to get one stream of income to a point where it can almost support you, where you can, you know, go out and indulge into other things and making sure that you can put the money into those things, because it's like you're just juggling, right? Three different things without no type of stability. So that can be the pitfall of the three of diamonds. So just trying to do multiple streams of income without one being even able to sustain you, right? So, but yeah, for me, I've always thought about myself having multiple businesses. So I'm not saying no, but it's the guy that I got mentored from or even got advice from when I was 20, 21. He was a three of diamonds. I didn't know until 10 years later, but he owned the US. I probably said the story last week, but he owned the post office, he owned the movie theater, and he owned the coffee shop. So those are all things that I'm actually interested in. I wanted to go into herbs. I want to have a t-shirt business, pushing the information around the herbs, which coffee shops, there's different things you sell, right? And I also thought about a job in theater after college because we didn't have one in my hometown, but I didn't have the money to finance. Those are just ideas. So that's the Queen of Diamonds, is like pushing yourself outside of just having ideas. The King of Clubs and Jupiter, pushing yourself and actually materializing those ideas and with some type of backing or finance. But the Queen of Diamonds can be someone, like I said, I mean, not rarely inherit wealth, but it can. But trying to find support in people or someone to financially support you, or banking and loans, and make sure your credit is okay. All of those things, money management, right? Because they like to spend as well. Let me read. So yeah, it definitely can be a card that can go into multiple streams of income. But money management and all those things is very important, and getting advice. I think mentorship. Um, that was kind of my lesson today. Friendships, relationships. You got to look at what transforms into the Queen of Diamonds. I always look at that and see how important that is, because it's the Six of Hearts. And the Six of Hearts is long term friends, relationships, people you can call on. So, what's the value behind the Six of Hearts? Is those connections, um, that you have and the relationships that you have, and valuing people, and seeing how that can can help you in the long run. But the Queen of Diamonds mentorship, I think, is important. I actually called a friend, just actually just was just intuitive, you know, just seeing how he was, and we got into the conversation of business, right? And he gave me a very, very good advice. 99cents.com is a marketing company, and it will advertise for you. They can do cold calling, you know, they can do various things between $100 to $500 a month, right? But once you hire them, make sure you're ready to grow your business, because it can get to a point where you might have too much clientele, right? So yeah, it's all of those things. I think when it comes to that energy, that's why I said very at a very young age, being groomed outside of just that inherited money consciousness, but being groomed, I think, is also a privilege of queens, of having people around them is also the test, you know, whether they listen or they don't. Because sometimes it may not be, life may not even be that hard. It may just be, are you listening? Are you making it hard? Are you making it hard on yourself? The not three of diamonds and nine of diamonds is the queen of diamonds is the value of receptivity. You know how to receive information. Because if you can't receive it, you're not able to listen. Then it's hard to create value for other people as well. Um, Let me see. Quentin Diamond should be. Would you move back to LA in the future? I definitely would. So the person that and the energy I'm around, they actually have homes in different locations. So I'm going to get outside of just the job. It's the environment of information. You know how to. I feel like I'm just surrounding myself by someone that is doing things that I want to do. So having a location here and having homes here, that'll be something that I want to indulge in and learn how to do. You know, firsthand knowledge is the best knowledge. So he's doing it. He's successful. So yeah, definitely looking coming back and having maybe a house or something to rent out while I'm here, if it doesn't sink on the water before I leave, before I can or before I'm able to. Oh man, I don't think LA is gonna. I don't think it's gonna sink underwater. Me personally, I don't know. She wants more money from one career. Yeah, she wants more money from one. She wants more money from one career. Yeah, I believe possibly. Yeah, the being stable. I think because there's, like I said, there can be a fear of poverty that comes with this card. So there can be, not everyone is as like risk takers. You know, like I said, taking advice. Mercury, the Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, seven of clubs, five of diamonds. I was trying to see what the five of diamonds was. It's Uranus for this particular card. So five of diamonds, Uranus. We kind of spoke about the five of diamonds last week because we was talking about the. No, we spoke about the five of diamonds during the ten of diamonds week because it was the cosmic lesson for the ten of diamonds. So we kind of spoke about it, diversification, you know, expanding, also taking advice from other people, right? Writing different ideas down. Five of diamonds can look and think towards the future, right? Not having a fear of money, having the ebb and flow, right? So that fear of money and not understanding the ebb and flow of money can also be tied to the nine of diamonds and that five of diamonds. You know, there can be quick changes, or things can happen almost suddenly, right? You can even move locations or jobs with the five of diamonds. They can go through sudden points of maybe like just sudden unemployment, possibly, right? Also, transportation can cost them a lot. Um, you know, maybe forgot something, or ticket change or flight travel changes, right? You know, can happen a lot for them. So, but understanding, you know, having that faith, and that's why faith and values and those things must be instilled into this energy, so they don't get worried or have that fear that could be attached. Um, I believe possibly most older books have all negative connotations. Have you read most of Ptolemy expressions of astrology? No, I haven't. I haven't read any. I ain't gonna say any. I don't think I've read any of his stuff. I don't think multiple streams to feed my hobby. I'm a three diamonds. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And actually growing up for the clothes and those things for me, I grew up taking pictures of my clothes like before I went to school just so I don't wear the same thing. I was very kind of stuck on trying to be creative, being unique, right? I think uniqueness and creativity comes with the Queen of Diamonds, and wanting to stand out, is one of those things that comes with it as well. But the Queen of Diamonds is also fitted to be an authority over a particular field. So yeah, having multiple streams of income, but don't lose focus because they're fitted to be an authority if they, step up to the plate and actually um, go fight against the negative thinking, that can possibly come to mental. It's all about the attitudes and the negative connotations. Does happen, like I said, it is natural. Like I said, I can't just throw it away because it is some things that are natural, but and really because of that seven of clubs. That seven of clubs and Saturn for them, I don't. That's probably not the most positive position to have a seven and Saturn.
They
Who else
really
has
have
seven?
to
Well,
like work on that. I think that's a very difficult placement for that card. But I think once they understand the power, right, of their words and the power of the tongue and the power of their thoughts, they
mhm.
can easily, alchemize that. That does require a lot of discipline, a lot of effort. Because that and Saturn can be really, there can be a lot of like, the negative self-talk. It talks them out of things. They definitely have to have that mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, I guess, power and strength to really
Willpower.
be able to, see where, like, being mindful of like where their mind even goes to, like, you know what I mean? Like they have to be
Mhm.
almost hyper aware of it so that they don't allow, because in Saturn it's like you're constantly working at like building that mental muscle, if you will. So the stronger that they can have like positive words poured into them,
Mhm.
or really
Affirmation.
being aware of their own, the mindset. They can really, it can be very positive, I think, but I do believe that it would require, a lot of work to understand that energy and having that seven of clubs in Saturn.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's why they should get into maybe metaphysics or some type of religion or faith, that they should indulge in, or being around people or positive people, in groups. That's why I said six of hearts, queen of diamonds, like, the people that you have around you, your relationships, that pour into you. It's very important, that I think that inherited wealth that is also the love, that you can be a reflection of the love that you birthed in or born into. And but yeah, positive affirmations and having some type of spiritual stance, and I think it's important for them with the seven because Saturn, we also a lot of times kind of take that to illness, so that you can see mental illness, things that can be maybe reversible by positivity and just the way that they think, their mindset is important, what they think. So, and like I said, I think people that judge people, when you have this judgment of value, sometimes you can also worry about what other people may think of you sometimes. But yeah, but if you have strong values and you have strong people, strong affirmations, you have will, the eight of diamonds is connected to that. So willpower is some type of way of consciousness. You can get through it. Yeah. Someone said, I had the five of diamond. I know had vehicle problems with the five of diamonds. Yeah, that can go into traveling nine of diamonds, and it's going to be expensive. Which is I'm talking like that doesn't include me because I definitely had car problems this week. I definitely did, and I'm fearful that it could get expensive. Do not change your oil or wait until your oil light come on. Change your oil when it's 50%. You that word from TikTok, a mechanic that works for Honda for years, 20-year mechanic. Go and get your car service at 50%. Do not wait until it get to 20, 30. Don't do that. It's just gonna get hot. It's gonna sludge. It's gonna build up. Don't do it. I advise you to. So yeah, daily monthly checkups. Someone said my queen has 5 of diamonds, dad, and Sully. uh, there was interruptions within the relationship. Okay, so yeah, relationships trauma can actually come from the Uranus period as well. So a lot of trauma relationships, a lot of times the sudden breakups, long distance travels, you know, anything that interrupts communication with people, and those things can come with the Uranus line, unfortunately. So you can look at that line for those who people that read for themselves or other people, looking at children, people, relationships. Look at the Uranus line; that can maybe tell you some things about where there can be some unease with any type of relationships. Um, so the spiritual, she defines herself as a deist who believe God created the universe but remains apart from it, aren't supposed to believe in prayer or that God intervenes in history. Hmm, that is very interesting. So it says not supposed to believe in prayer or that God intervenes in history. Hmm. That is so I don't know if we was here. I'm saying I don't know if we was here, but I don't know if you was here or if you all was here a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson and speaking about the essence of randomness in the universe and what is random and what is destiny, right? So yeah, that is a good conversation. I think a very interesting conversation around the 7 o'clock and prayer and faith. What is prayer, right? What is faith? Is that the intervention of God? Because a lot of people do look at prayer as a call of God, but is it a command you're giving to yourself and a manifestation within yourself without the intervention of God, but using the powers that He instilled within you to um, what can I say, to enact willpower, I guess you can say, um, to get what you desire ultimately, to manifest those things, to wield things into your life through your own commands, of what you believe in. I think that is actually what faith and prayer is for me. A lot of times I say prayer without work, is dead, or faith without work is dead. If you're not, doing anything, you're not taking those prayers or those commands and walking outside your house and actually walking within those commands and actually doing the things that you're praying for. I just don't believe in just winning the lottery and just out the blue. Actually, that's Queen of Diamonds life path. To be honest, the prayer and the faith and those things is for their mental attitudes and to get them through those particular things, and to take control of their mind. It's also that the 7 of clubs is defiant as well, as far as what other people may think or believe and what they apply to their life, their philosophy. They're here to kind of go against the grain as well. Um, that it can be one of those things: is it law? Is your truth my truth, or is that law? So that's what the diamonds are here to do, is to bring the law, right? Is to understand what is and what isn't, what is truth and what is not truth, right? And to define that, you know, and to understand that. So the Queen of Diamonds, they inherited wisdom, right? So that is the inherited wisdom that she has. That's very dope. to recognize that, because a lot of times people don't recognize that. So the Queen of Diamonds to improper use of the laws, or improper use of the laws of life. Recognize these laws are symbolized on the cards, and see neither is positive or negative. And but the real challenge is to walk through all the particular life path and all the cards with an instinctual positive state of mind. Um, so whenever I look at the Queen of Diamonds and the King of Clubs, like I said, they have this inherited power, or this inherited knowledge to be leaders, thought leaders. You look at Martin Luther King, you look at who he was. He was had some type of power and ability to lead people and to give back. He's a philanthropist, or he was becoming money conscious in some type of way and thinking about other people outside of just himself, right? So he wasn't a mercenary in any type of way, and he was, conscious of the people, and what is truth and what isn't truth. Even within his, I wouldn't say his deathbed, with him passing, he was thinking about what was he doing? Was it right for the people? What was he doing, and how it was going to affect the future. G, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was just trying to get situated. We went to go see the Beetlejuice movie, and then we went to dinner, so we got home late.
Oh, okay,
Um,
that's dope.
yeah, it was good. The new Beetlejuice movie. It was good.
No, I was just making sure you was, because we were like 41 minutes. I've been trying to learn YouTube, so I wouldn't say the shorter the video, the better, but the watch time and how long people are attending or how long people are watching does matter. So I'm like, I don't want to be on here like an hour and a half. I know people they may not watch all of it. So if you are here, please click like, if you can, if you can do that for me. Please click like, so it can boost up our ability to be seen as well. So, was there anything that you want to speak about? I want to just close out or go into any other area without, make sure
No,
you.
not really. This has been a interesting week to say the least. You know, um, collectively. So these next, few weeks are going to be real interesting. We just got to Libra season, and Venus is moving into Scorpio, I think this evening as well. So a lot of transits or changes. And now we're coming into the King of Diamonds week, finishing out the King of Diamonds month. And so oh wow, Rashad, I just remembered next month is the Queen of Diamonds month too. So this week, ooh, is kind of like a preview into next month. So it's just going to get even more. And the Queen of Diamonds sits in the sun in the United States plate. I know that much. Kind of interesting what we've seen this week.
You said next month is the Queen of Diamonds
Yeah, is in
month.
October, Queen of Diamonds month.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't. So yeah, that's the theme of this week. Like I was kind of speaking about earlier, like parents, wealth, knowledge, information, and inheritance. So definitely, as far as like the stock market, I keep on saying in the investor is the Queen of Diamonds, but I really don't know. I think someone confirmed that, but
I think he is. I think he's the Leo Queen of Diamonds. I think his birthday is like August 1st, if I'm
yeah,
seeing that.
I actually did. I created a whole video earlier about Eminem being the Ace of Diamonds. This man is not an Ace of Diamonds.
He's a 5 of clubs.
Yes, he's a five of clubs.
I'm shocked.
And I was just speaking about the card, and I was like, it kind of relates because the Queen of Diamonds, but no, he's not. He's not even. But it's all right. But yeah, I don't know if he is or not. But yeah, the Queen of Diamonds values money consciousness or some type of inherited consciousness as well. But like I said, I hate to say that. I would say I would hate to say that everyone just comes into life just expanding and vibrating on the high side of these cards, because people will look at them like that is not the energy. I know them in their birthday. They are not. They have no type of consciousness around money or morals or values, which is understood. But you gotta look at the opposite end. If you don't, things are compromised. Or out of the fear of poverty, and you gotta look at what's affecting that trait. What's affecting that. So those can also be seen on the other extreme ends, like Diddy, right? This week he went to jail. That is a judgment of values. You got judged this week. Saturn
And
Mercury.
what's crazy, Rashad, is there was no amount of money that he could offer
Mm,
to keep him out,
no amount of
right?
money.
He tried everything. He said, I'll give you my passports. You can have this. You can have this. I'll give you this. They said, nope.
Mhm. And that's what to the agents of ageless wisdom, values do not mean money. You know, so as soon as native of this card learn that priceless lessons, their problems are solved. Learning lessons that are based upon laws, however, is accomplished only by those who consciously and deliberately seek that special knowledge. You know, so that's why I say like you have to seek that information. You have to want to know. And that's why I say like the way that you raise the people that you raise around. So bravo to Maria, because it's just a reflection of your parenting and who you are when your kids have this realization of what is right and what is wrong, or the values that they should walk with. But on the money level, like I said, it can be give back in the greatest ways. Either poets, artists, a lot of those people, can be considered philanthropists, or the initiation where they look to change the world in some type of way. I think Nine of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds, those are big energies here to lead the way and some make a big impact. If it's impact cards, if you had to say there's impact cards, the Nine of Diamonds is one of them. What is an impact card for you, Gina? Or what's a card that you would say is like a
Mm, I can see the nines for sure, all of them. Because they're big energies. Uh, yeah, I would say the nines, eights as well. The power that they have. There's that, the will and the determination, the strength that
Mhm.
they have definitely can be very impactful. Kings, court cards, I'd say the court cards have a lot of impact as well. And it's interesting you said the nine of diamonds, because at the beginning of the year, it was the nine of diamonds that went viral. Cat Williams is the nine of diamonds, and his whole interview is resurfacing because everyone's like the prophet that he is. Because he even said the truth will come out, and look at us, in this week. So uh, definitely been a very, and that's the thing, like that those nines, you know, when they're speaking, right, they are really bringing a lot of valuable information. It's just, again, sometimes people look past them and, oh, like for Cat Williams, for example, he's just a comedian. He's not, no, everything he spoke, he wasn't being funny. Like, even though it's a natural thing for him, everybody thinks, everything he says is a joke. He was dead ass serious. So I think it's just interesting that, you know, that's where we are, and um what we've kind of witnessed in this week. Because all you're seeing is now is like all the interviews, different video, old lost videos resurfacing, um, to kind of like uh show the character, what they're trying to do is build this character, of all these things, and everybody's trying to put the pieces together of this whole entertainment industry uh shit show. Because it's exactly what it's going to be.
They say the party is dying.
Hmm.
Not say the party died. So it has definitely been that is like we said, like money can't replace morals and values, and the greatest teachers and painters and artists are those people that like you said, are truth tellers a lot of times, and that's what people fear. I was talking to someone about Kendrick Lamar. That's a card of discretion. So he lives in his truth. He's here. He feels like he's here to uphold a certain law. And they hate compromising themselves or their laws. A lot of times, King Clubs are disappointed. Their disappointment lies into other people. Unfortunately for them, they put other people on the pedestal. Even you look at Malcolm X. He put his teacher on the pedestal. It's a lot of times the Queen of Diamonds. And some of these kings and queens can do that. Is they put people on the pedestal and they upset them or they disappoint them based upon their character. Because they don't walk within that same type of alignment. You know.
That makes sense when you think about it, because I guess they maybe just innately expect others to have this kind of moral,
Mhm.
like um, value pedal. Like it's funny because I know a king of clubs, and a lady I worked with a long time ago, and she did exactly that. Like she put a lot of people up on pedestals, and I'm like, they're just regular ass people, but you but she definitely had that, like painted this light around them, like they were just these, could do no wrong. And I'm like, I don't know about all that. But that's interesting you say that, and I can see that with, even with a lot of the court cards too, can easily do that. And I think maybe it's because they operate with those, morals and values, and ideally, right? So they just maybe automatically think that others are going to come this way, and then like you said, if they don't, then there's some disappointment there. But again, that in itself is a lesson that they're not you and you're not them, right? They may not have the same values and morals that you do, so you can't expect them to move the same way you would move.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting though, because I noticed that with the few king of clubs that I've come across, that they do have that ability. Like they really do can put people up on pedestals.
Yeah, and someone asked about the Queen of Spades being in Neptune for them. Can you, yeah, Queen is the Queen of Spades, and that can be a part of the inherited wisdom that can give them nightmares and terrors as well, depending on the card. But the Queen of Diamond, the Queen of Spades, can be the wisdom or the having an influential or dominant woman around them. And a lot of times later in life, they can be a little witchy or going to maybe metaphysics. They can also they have to, I wouldn't say dominate their contracts or be in control of their business in some type of way, right? So they can give them a sense of power and authority over themselves, and everything that they have, or a sense of ownership. It can also lead them to working late in life, working by the beach in some type of way. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see them being healers,
Mm-hmm.
you being able to heal people even like long distance, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of energy work. I could definitely see that, being in spaces where they are nurturing or taking care of others, coaching others, teaching others, bringing some kind of information to others as well. Um, the Queen of Spades and Neptune can, like you said, the feminine, they may have strong feminine energy, strong mother, so
Mm-hmm.
someone of power, you know. But yeah, their dreams, their visions that they can have, the ability to kind of know, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is like really being able to trust their intuition,
Mm-hmm.
right? It would be really like being able to tap into that and master it, right? Because that Queen of Spades being the card of
Master.
spirituals, yeah, being the card of spiritual self mastery, they master like their ability, one, like you said, that ability to receive, right? Because there's the queens have that receptivity, they want to be able to receive, but then they also are also, to be of service too. So there's this beautiful energy, I feel like, with that Queen of Spades and Neptune, of really, one, being taken care of, but also then taking care of others. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, being able to kind of receive on the other end. Like I said, they can have powerful witchy women around them if they aren't witches themselves. So um, receptivity is kind of like the essence of the Queen of Spades. So in order to serve, you have to be able to receive, I think, or to understand other people, So being empathetic, so receptivity and all those type of levels, right? Um, so I don't think I look at the way that the education field is attacked and the way that they structure it. And I see certain people teach, and I go into classrooms. And a lot of the teachers sometimes don't understand the children, and they're not understanding of their social norms and who they are a lot of times. And it's like you're teaching or you're talking to someone, but you're not receiving them as well, right? So it's like a understanding that you just have to have. So in order to teach someone, I think you have to also know how to understand people, and know how to learn people in some type of way, being observant in all senses, spiritually, physically, mentally, So being receptive, I think, energetically and being able to nurture kind of goes hand to hand, right? I think that's the queen's. Um, that's their superpower. A king doesn't really
Mhm.
have to receive you. I'm not gonna say we don't have to, but but they can be selfish in nature. But receptivity, I think, is a woman's superpower, is to be receptive and nurturing. Submission is not. I think isn't to bow down. Submission is to understand and to allow and to understand what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. That the ability to I think too, having that Queen of Spades in Neptune is, important for them to see their value, because they come here to, really raise the bar. And when they can master their own, spirituality, their own like beliefs, their own, sense of, who they are, this is when I
Mhm.
think they're at their, again, there's that strong essence of wanting to be of service to others. But at the same time, they get, like you were saying, like allowing themselves, being of service to themselves at the same time too.
Mhm. Yeah, gotta have some balance. Queen of Spades is the witch, right? So it is she starts out Uranus Mercury. I know. So that inherited wisdom and those things, I think it's like I said, based upon the upbringing, based upon who's around you, based upon the information that you're learning. Like I said, the Six of Hearts transforms into the Queen of Diamonds. I always look at that as like value is created. Value is something that you create. Sometimes it's not. A lot of times, what you're born with, sometimes is what you create, and it's very influenced by the waters that you surround yourself with. You understand, like, so a lot of times, again, that's why diamonds. I relate to water because it can be influenced easy, right? And it's based upon the environment that they sit in. Clubs too, the mental mind, but sometimes they can be strong headed into whatever they may think for themselves. but but the diamonds can be something that's very fluid, and as far as their character and who they are, may not be as concrete as others. So let me see. Any other questions or anything else that you all want to speak about? We're at about an hour. I don't want to go too much over that. Um, I
No,
know
I'm
kind of.
good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. All right. We appreciate y'all. All so the like I said, hit like please if you can, so more people can see it and see us on here live. We can get people on here interacting with us a little bit more. Everything that you all's feedback is everything that we could hope for and wish for, and your participation actually help us to bring more light and let us know that we're just not up here talking crazy, right? That you see the things that we see into. So I definitely appreciate it. Of course, go to cardologylife.com. Gina, what's your website or where should they go?
I am working on hopefully getting a website soon. But right now, my Instagram page, Guided by the Cards, I'm doing this Saturday coming up, I'm doing mini readings and letting other people do practice readings. So, webinar, if you're interested, just message me or email me at guidedbythecards@gmail.com. But yeah, this Saturday coming up is mini readings and practice readings for the students I've been having in these webinars. They're going to do some practice readings too on the plates. So that'll be fun.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So, I was going to have a class, but like I said, I'll be moving. So, I'll be looking forward to maybe participating into other people's classes and joining you all. So, next week, going into is it King of Diamonds week?
Yep.
Yeah, King of Diamonds week. So, spoke about it a little bit earlier, but a King of Diamonds around values. It can be somewhat sacrificial for like family or friends, in certain ways. They do have to watch the people that they surround themselves with and making sure they're not overly giving and having a good balance because relationships is important for them as well. But have the Six of Hearts and Mercury, so everlasting and long lasting relationships, and having respectable people around them, right? So that they can get advice from. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, is the card. Like the Queen of Diamonds, they're not just they don't come in the world as small children. They are like teenagers of this. Young adults as kids, right? So they come in this world mature, or a sense of maturity. How they use that, like I said, can be kind of based upon the environment they live in. But they definitely come into this world with a sense of maturity, like the Queen. So the King of Diamonds can be leaders in their own right as well. But they just gotta learn how to use their influence. How to learn how to use the people around them and their sense of creativity or their talent that they may have for the best of their abilities. Can also be somewhat psychics or thinking about the future and the well-being of others. So it can be the energy going to next week. Gina, you want to speak on anything about the King of Diamonds as well?
Well, it's my Saturn card, so I got to get my shit together. No.
No, I feel you. It's good. Don't make it a struggle. You got what? Lean into it. You got to lean into it.
I really do resist this energy, like with everything inside me. But I've learned to embrace it. I can appreciate it. It'll probably feel like a big Capricorn moon week, which I actually can appreciate that
Okay.
energy. Being able to kind of get things done, get more serious, get some order. I can appreciate it. So that's kind of the King of Diamonds for me. Getting it's my Saturn card for life, so I have to really, lean into it. I
Well,
sound excited, don't I? No.
yeah, right. I'm gonna say, but on a positive note, it can be a card of making great gains as far as money wise.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Right. So, I wouldn't say gamble, but without work and without investing, without the ability to understand what you're buying, and what the proper knowledge, advice, and you're not going to make much back. But if you invested the right amount of time, the proper aesthetics into what you're doing, there should be a return in what you're doing. But even throughout the pitfalls and the roller coaster rides that they may have with the far as the King of Diamonds, it can't be too struck on money, right? But understand what you have. Like I said, the value of what you're creating, is more important than anything. Nothing. Values is everlasting. What do people need? What do people want? What do people value? What's important for yourself or other people? So not to get stuck upon just the aspect of just making the money, but what you're doing with it. What is it? What is it? What are you creating? So the essence of matter and spirituality, is intertwined with that particular card as well. That's 7 of spades supporting it, right? So there's an essence of matter and spirit that's intertwined with it, and understanding what that really means. So we are made of matter and spirit, without the balance of the two, understanding of how they need each other, to live a peaceful life. But all right, so we're gonna head out. Gina's gonna look forward to having a successful, structured week. And I'm gonna get my life together too, because I actually I actually need to do that too, and figure out where I'm moving to, and where I'm gonna stay at. So, so
Oh, wow.
yeah. All right. We'll see y'all next week. And
Bye,
thank you all.
Rashad. Bye, everybody.
All right, bye.
Peace.